Oh lord, how this heat makes me wish for the sound of the Judgment Day trumpet as I willingly leap into the arms of Death himself. Seriously though, what the fuck is this? Hey guys, I'm Anderson9132, and I'm the Robot Wars Guru. I hate Christmas. Yeah, sure, call me a Scrooge all you bloody want, but I don't care. Fuck this time of year. Sure, there's food, and apparently it's a time to spend time with your family, but let's be real here, this time of year is a stressful, expensive mess that I could happily do without every 12 months. I think the part I hate most about this stupid holiday is the ridiculous need to give everyone presents. You unwillingly feel guilty if you don't give someone something. It's emotional blackmail, really. And sadly, it's not just limited to friends and family either. As a YouTuber, I feel like I have to give you guys something every Christmas. Last year I ranked all the Christmas specials and put myself through hell to do it. This year I was rather stumped about what I could do, but then I remembered it's not what the gift is about, but more the gift in general that is important. And what better gift to give you guys than my own mental anguish? Yes, it's time for me to sit down and beat my head against a wall with anger as I take a look at one of the worst, or should I say worst, episodes of Robot Wars I have ever seen. If you couldn't guess which episode I'm on about by that incredible pun, I'm talking about Heat A of the German Robot Wars. No. Just no! This episode is awful! It's worse than Christmas pudding! I'm not even going to try and explain why this episode sucks. Let's just get it over and done with. Now, I obviously know nothing about German TV hosts or entertainers, so I'm just going to skip over the host and commentator for this video. Sadly, however, I do know a fair bit about robots, so I can't skip over these. For some reason, of the 12 robots available for the German Robot Wars, they decided to put most of the boring ones in the same heat. Sure, Son of Armageddon was pretty cool, being an aggressive robot with a decent lifter, but aside from that, these robots are just Thorgrim looks like it would be a lot of fun with orange fur and German flags coating the robot, but it didn't bloody work. Junkyard Queen at least looked unique, but it wasn't exactly a pretty robot, and despite having an original look to it, it had nothing to back it up with. Golem was a box with a spike that died after reversing into Matilda once. Ansgar's Revenge is one of the worst shufflers I've ever seen, with an awful weapon and terrible reliability, and Type was a weaponless wedge that would struggle to get underneath most things. If this heat were a cake and the robots were the ingredients for said cake, it would be fucking tasteless. So before I get into the first battle consisting of Son of Armageddon, Tyke and Thorgrim, I would like you to put yourself in my shoes. I was 9 years old and I was watching the European Championship in Extreme Series 2. Whilst watching it, I heard JP saying that Black Hole, this awesome little spinner bot from Germany, is the reigning German champion. Upon hearing this, I got excited at the prospect of German robots and wondered what else they had to offer. This hunger for German machines was made even stronger by Tsunami's performance in Series 7. Now fast forward many years later to the year 2012 when I discovered that someone had uploaded the entire German Robot Wars onto YouTube. I was pumped and immediately sat down with a big mug of tea ready to watch the action. So, you can imagine the fucking aneurysm I had when I watched the first battle and 2 out of the 3 robots didn't bloody work. Oh, sorry, Tyke did work and moved, it must have been about a foot backwards before dying, whilst Thorgrim literally just sat where it stopped upon entering the arena. What a fucking great start this was. Because of this, all we got in this fight was Son of Armageddon trying to lift 2 dead carcasses. Refbot eventually countered Thorgrim out a mere second before Tyke got pitted, and then Matilda bummed Thorgrim. Honestly, this damage done by Matilda is the only real thing of note in this entire fight. Yeah, you could say that Tyke nearly being pitted before Thorgrim were counted out made it a close finish, but let's be honest here, it wasn't exactly nail-biting action. I can't give it the minus figures that it deserves, simply thanks to Matilda wrecking Thorgrim. Still, it's an easy 0 out of 5. Our next 3 waves between Ansgar's Revenge, Golem and Junkyard Queen. Well, all 3 robots in this battle moved, so it's a start. Unfortunately, that's pretty much it. Golem and Junkyard Queen tried to fight, but really couldn't get to grips with one another, simply nudging each other and not really doing anything of note. When Golem's wheel becoming dislodged as the only thing of note, you know you have a stinker on your hands. Ansgar's Revenge meanwhile just jittered and farted its way around the same 3-meter area it started the battle in before dying completely. And Refbot didn't count it out! Why? It's dead! Instead of counting it out and letting the house robots have some fun with it, we had to suffer through 3 robots doing absolutely nothing until cease was called for a judge's decision! Christ backwards! You know, I honestly think this battle was worse than the first one. At least that one had a semi-aggressive Son of Armageddon trying to do something. Look at this shit! How does the battle with 3 working robots end up being more boring than a battle with 1 working robot? -1 out of 5. And then, just to make things worse, because the German Robot Wars had a stupidly low amount of robots entering, and therefore not enough battles to fill an entire episode, they actually had to borrow battles featuring German robots from Extreme 1. And in this heat, they decided to use the German melee from episode 12. I'm not going to give this battle a review because I'll eventually cover it when I covered that episode, but let's just say a battle full of dud robots bumping into each other really doesn't help this heat any. Battle 3 of the heat sees Son of Armageddon defeating Junkyard Queen. This fight was over pretty quickly, which I'll gladly accept considering the magnitude of arse we've had so far. All Son of Armageddon had to do was push Junkyard Queen against the side wall and flip it onto its side. Woo! Sadly, the house robots didn't do much to Junkyard Queen. I honestly thought we would see Matilda take off one of its wheels, but all she managed to do was slightly buckle it. Oh, and the drop zone pretty much missed its target entirely. Fuck's sake. And then Junkyard Queen sank, much like my will to live at this point, down the pit. This fight was very short and very one-sided, but both robots worked, and they had an actual fight, and there was weapon use and a legit KO and everything, and it was way better than the previous 2 battles combined! Sadly, it was still pretty drab overall, and the lackluster post-fight demolition of Junkyard Queen was pretty dull, so I can't give it more than 1 out of 5. And finally, thank fuck, we have Tyke vs Golem. Generic wedge versus generic box with a spike. Who was behind the organisation of these damn fights? This fight is arse biscuits. Tyke did, well, nothing, and Golem did all the work. And when I say work, I mean driving poorly and gently bumping against Tyke a few times before, get this, dying under no pressure. Seriously, how can a robot die like this? This is ridiculous! Thankfully, Mr. Psycho and Shunt were able to do what Matilda and Sakidalot couldn't and actually had some fun with Golem by placing it on the floor flipper before putting it on the drop zone. And this time it actually made contact with the bloody target. Then Mr. Psycho shoved Golem in the pit where it fucking belongs. Fun fact, Golem was so dead after this fight it couldn't even compete in the melee deciding the 5th place finisher. I will never understand how. Literally nothing happened to it. Honestly, Mr. Psycho and Shunt really saved this one because it was verging on minus figures, but due to the action that happened after Golem was counted out, I can't give it a minus figure. It's still a solid 0 out of 5 though. This heat is a trifle of turds! How in God's name did anyone in production take a look at this and think, yep, this is gonna be a banger? How was the German Wars not cancelled after this episode alone? It's fucking tragic! The main 4 battles of this heat are crap, but then to have a filler battle that is also crap is just pathetic! This has to be the worst episode of Robot Wars ever! Nothing can compare to this absolute shitfuckery of wank! This heat gets a 0 out of 5 for being one of the worst I've ever watched. Let's get to the fucking merits already. The best battle of the episode was Son of Armageddon vs Junkyard Queen because it was an actual fight. The worst battle of the night was the second first round melee because it was pure shite on every single level and should have ended in a count out, not a judge's decision. The best moment of the episode was Thorgrim getting trashed by Matilda. And the golden mic for best Volker quote, well, I can't speak German, but this sounded pretty funny.
Ein klarer Fall für den Schiedssport.
And that's it for this review and this video. I would ask if you agree with my thoughts, but no one can try and argue that this heat was good. So instead, I'm just going to say thank you to everyone who watched not just this video, but every video I uploaded this year. It really does mean a lot, and I hope that this video was a decent Christmas present to you all. I'm glad my suffering brings you joy, you pricks. I've been Anderson9132, the Robot Wars Guru. Merry fucking Christmas, and I'll see you in the new year.